Hi everyone, welcome to Murthy IT. So, here I'm going to explain some of the logical programs, which are frequently asked in the interviews. So let's start. Today I am going to explain about swapping of the two numbers. What is it? Swapping of the two numbers. So input will get input if you give number 1 equal to 10, number 2 equal to 20, but output we should show number 1 equal to 20, number 2 equal to 10. So that is the requirement. So here by using third variable we can do easily. By using third variable we can do easily. So I am going to explain two ways without using third variable and with using third variable. Let's first discuss about by using third variable how to do swapping of two numbers. So let's discuss algorithm how to do. Okay. So first temp equal to number 1. What I'm doing here. So in the number one variable, whatever value is there, that I am thinking to store the value. So in number 1, what is their value? 10 is there. So I'm trying to store in temp variable. So in temp variable, what value is there? 10 is there. So now okay. Now what we want here? Number 1 equal to 20 we want. Number 1 on the output we want to show number 1 equal to 20. So 20, but 20 who is having here in the input, who is having 20? Number 2 is having 20. So if you say number 1 equal to number 2, then what will be happen? In number 2, whatever value is there, that value will be stored in number 1 variable. Na? See? So now number 2 having 20, this 20 value will be stored into number 1 variable. Now what will be happen? This 10 will be replaced by 20, right? So 10 replaced by 20. So number 1 we got 20. So now we need number 2. The number 2 we need what? 10. So number 2 equal to temp. So in temp variable 10 is that the 10 will be stored in number 2. So whenever we write number 2 equal to temp, so this 10 in temp variable 10 value will be stored in number 1, number 2 variable. Number 2, 20 value is there. 20 replaced by 10. That's it. It is easy. It's easy, right? By using third variable. So let's see this one programmatically how to do this. How to do. So first I am taking, as we discussed, right? Into num1 equal to num equal to 10 into num2 equal to 20 int okay into temp equal to 0 into temp equal to 0. Sys out before swapping what are the values I want to print. Number 1. So in number 1 what value is there? Plus number 1. Num2. plus num2. So before swapping, if you print before swapping, if you print run a Java application. So in number 1, 10 value is there, number 2, 20 value is there. Okay. Number 2, 20 value is there. Now what we have now, we have to write the logic, actual logic. Say temp equal to what I said, temp equal to number 1 value store in temp variable. Then after number 1 equal to number 2. Number 2 value stored in number 1. Number 2. Finally, number 2 equal to temp. Is enough simple, right? So after swapping, if you print num1 and number 2, it will be swapping and it will be printed. After swapping, before swap. So because of these three lines, swapping is happening. So run as Java application. See, after swapping, number 1 value is 20, number 2 value is 10. So it is by using temp variable, third variable. The same thing without using. So this one simple. So while interviewing, so at interview time, they will put a condition, you need to swap without using third variable. So for that, how to do? For that, how to do? Let's see. So already we discussed, right? These all things. So swap two numbers without using third variable. So input is this. Input is this. Output is this. Output is after swapping, they have to interchange the values, right? So first, right, by using third variable, what we have to do? We need to do addition. Addition of these two numbers, and we have to assign to any one of the variable. Number 1 equal to number 1 plus number 2. So in number 1, what value is there? 10 is there. Number 2, what value is there? 20 is there. So 10 plus 20 equal to 30. This 30 will go on store in number 1 variable. So in number 1 variable, this 10 replaced by 30. Okay. So, but in the output, what we want, sir? In the output, we want 20. So, if you want to get 20, number 1 as a 20. If you want to get number 1 or number 2, first let's take number 2. Why? Because already number 1 value is there, right? So, let's first number 2. If you want to get in the number 210, in the number 210, from 30 onwards, how much we need to do subtraction? So from 30 to get number 2 as 10, to get output number 2 as 10, from 30 onwards, how much we need to do subtraction? 20. So now what we can say, number 2 equal to number 1 minus number 2. So in number 1, what is there? 30. Number 2, what is there? 20. So 30 minus 20. 10. 30 minus 20, 10. Finally, number 2 we got 10. Number 1 we want 20. So finally what we can say? Now what? Number 2 20 replaced by 10. Okay. Then after number 1 equal to number 1 minus number 2. In number 1, what value is there, sir? 30. 30 minus 10. So 30 minus 10, how much is there? 20. Finally, this number 1, 30 replaced by 20. Simple. First we need to do subtraction. Number 2 equal to number 1 minus number 2. Number 1 equal to number 1 minus number 2. Okay. So the same program, let's do practically. So this is for without using, by using third variable it is. It is by using third variable, right? So let's to do without using third variable. How to do? How to do? So the same program, for example, I am giving minus 10. You give any value, sir. You give any value. So minus 10 and 20,000. A value is A value. I mean, number 1 value is minus 10 I given. Number 2 value is 20,000 I am giving. So once we run this program, it has to be swapping should be happen. So before swapping, number 1 value is minus 10. After swapping, number 1 value is what's 20,000. Before swapping, number 1 value is minus 10. Number 2 value is 20,000. After swapping, number 1 value is 20,000. Number 2 value is minus 10. So you give any number, it has to. So it is by using 3 variables, right? Now we want to do by using 2 variables. How to do? How to do that? So now into number 1 equal to minus 10, into number 2 equal to 20,000. So here simple, before swapping what we need to print? Before swapping print. So why, as per the discussion what we discussed, sir? Number 1 equal to number 1 plus number 2. Okay. Then number 2 equal to number 1 minus number 2. Then finally number 1 equal to number 1 minus number 2. So after swapping, what is the values of number 1 and number 2? So let's see. Run as Java application. So before swapping, number 1 value is minus 10. Number 2 value is 20,000. After swapping, number 1 value is 20,000. Number 2 value is minus 2. Okay, got the point? Simple. So conclusion, while using third variable, we need to do, while using third variable, just we need to take one temp variable, number 1 value we need to store in temp, and we need to say number 1 equal to number 2, number 2 equal to temp. And without using third variable, number 1 equal to number 1 plus number 2, number 2 equal to number 1 minus number 2, number 1 equal to number 1 minus number 2. It's not buttifying things, sir. So whenever we are doing each step, you need to do what value will be for this step, what value is there, where, in which variable value it will be replaced. So it is not buttifying such kind of thing. Okay. So thanks. If you have any doubts, you can comment in the YouTube comment section. Thanks everyone. Bye.